What's up, YouTube? My name is Crispy Bacon. I'm here to do a short review of a film called Parallel Mothers, directed by Pedro Almodovar. This movie is about a character named Janice, played by Penelope Cruz, who has a baby in the same room with this woman named Anna, played by Milena Smith. They both develop a relationship with each other that gradually gets a little more interesting throughout the film because of the turns that it takes. One of the things that I really have to say that's positive about it is the turns that this movie takes is very unexpected, and it actually does benefit the pacing of the film as well. The movie is really like a drama, and the music really says it in that way. There's a lot of violins. The music in this movie is really effective, along with its writing. Like, it's just a perfect marriage. Pedro Almodovar is really good at doing those things so far out of the 4 films that I've seen of his so far. The cinematographer of his is Jose Luis Alcain. Can't really pronounce that, sorry I messed that up, but he worked in prior films of his. A movie that he did a year prior called The Human Voice, which was his only English-speaking movie, starring Tilda Swinton. He's made more movies like Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down, Volver, Pain and Glory, and The Skin I Live In. This guy came back for Parallel Mothers, and it's great. Like, for me, pretty much, I just saw a lot of sharp takes and a lot of good transitions throughout this film. It's very tastefully done. Only complaint that I'll probably have about it is that it ends in a way that most of his, like pretty much every movie that I've seen of his end, and it ends very open-ended. Like, there's not necessarily a conclusion to these movies. Sometimes they're literally, for me, when I watch some of his movies, are like a dream, where it's very well thought out. It's very interesting, and crazy, because his movies get pretty crazy. Everything is resolved, but yet it doesn't really have a concrete ending, you know? Like, you know where these characters will be later on. It sort of just leaves it up to your interpretation to try to figure out where these characters will end up in the situation that they're in at that point. It seems like this director, when he does his characters in his film, he wants them to feel as real as possible. He wants people to take these people in as real human beings and not just characters in a film. And maybe you can relate yourself. You can find somebody that you know of who you can relate to in that film, in any of the films that he's made so far. One thing that's very unique about this movie is that there's no one doing heroin. So far, every movie besides this one that I've seen so far there's at least one character in the movie that does heroin, and there's always somebody going to a drug deal to pick up heroin. It seems to be everywhere. It's probably something that is personal to him, but this movie, no heroin, which is fine. Like, it's fine to me. It doesn't really benefit the story to bring that shit up anyway. About 2 moms that have a complicated relationship throughout the film based upon the situation that goes down with Penelope Cruz and her husband. At first, you kind of see him as like a fucking sleazy dude, kind of. Like, it's like, oh, he's cheating on her. But that's what I love about this movie, is they don't really tell you their situation. They just kind of they include that detail into the dialogue, and you basically interpret as the movie goes on what's going down. And I really like when movies do that. Give you all the information that you need in the movie, but you gotta give it time. You have to be patient, and I really do love when movies do that, because it really allows me to put the pieces together. I love Teresa in this movie, Aldana Sanchez. She was really good in the movie. I really liked her. I especially like Milena Smith as Anna. She was really good. Penelope Cruz is amazing, as always. Frequently collaborates with this guy. Like, she was in Pain and Glory, playing like a version of his mother. I mean, she does a really good job in that one too. And she still holds her own weight here. She pretty much holds the entire movie because she's in pretty much every single scene. And she does a really good job to just keep you on that edge, because there's just something wrong with the situation that she's in. You don't really know how she's going to act in these situations, and when she holds on to something, it kind of drives you a little wild. You're like, oh my god, why don't you do something? And then once these things get addressed, it's worth it, because, you know, it doesn't keep you for too long. It actually keeps you long enough for you to be tense and for it to be very effective. The rating tier, it's either burnt, that sucks, undercooked. It's not that great at all. It's and then there's a home cooked meal, which to some people it's a 5. To me, it's just a 3. It's just my opinion. A 4, it's great. That means it's tasty. And then a 5 is cooked to perfection. Basically saying that I love the movie and I didn't really find too much wrong with it. I identified with the film, or at least like I had so much enjoyment from the film that I'd watch it again plenty of times. The rating I'm going to give this movie is a tasty. Like, it's really tasty. It's not necessarily cooked to perfection, because I've seen like 4 of his other movies, and this isn't really my favorite one. It's not my least favorite, though. If you want to tell me how you felt about Parallel Mothers, you can tell me at the comments below. And I would love to have a discussion about this movie because it was really good. It actually was one of my favorite movies that I've seen this past year. I'm going to have more reviews later in the future. Tell me what you guys think of Parallel Mothers, and thank you so much for watching this review. Goodbye.